Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. In this video, we're going to learn about the types of learning teams and the goal orientation in learning of an individual. Now, why is it important to learn about the types of learning teams? Well, this will help us set the standard and define what is actually a good performing team. And in terms of the goal orientation in learning, it will help us identify what motivates us in learning and why are we learning in such a manner. There are actually 4 types of learning teams: a pseudo-learning team, traditional learning team, cooperative learning team, and high-performance cooperative learning team. What do they mean? Well, the following slides will describe the characteristics of each of these learning teams. I will not be reading the slides. I would like you to read and discover what they are. My suggestion is for you to do this together with your teammates. Assign a different person to read the description of each team. So a different person will be reading the description and understanding what they are. Once the different team members have read the description of the different teams, then please explain to each other what you understand so that you can discuss among your team members, think about your own team and match your team to the appropriate characteristics so that you can identify which type of team that you belong to. Now, please be honest. So this is the description of a pseudo-learning team. The person in charge of understanding what a pseudo-learning team is can stop the video and read about it here. These are the characteristics of the traditional learning. If you're in charge of understanding about a traditional learning team, please stop the video here. These are the characteristics of cooperative learning team. If you're in charge of understanding what a cooperative learning team is, it's time to stop the video so that you can read about it. Finally, these are the characteristics of the high-performance cooperative learning team. If you're in charge of high-performance cooperative learning team, then please stop the video here so that you can read about it. Now that you have read about the different types of teams, which type of team fits how your team functions? Did you manage to identify one? Great. Let's look at the performance level of these different types of team. The pseudo team is the worst kind. In a pseudo team, basically all the team members do not want to be part of the team and nobody wants to do any sort of work. Since nobody is doing any work for the team, this is why the performance of a pseudo team is below that of an individual member. So anybody who's stuck in a pseudo team, it's better to break up. If you cannot work things out with your teammates, get help from the instructor so that you can really improve how your team works. Nobody can survive in this type of team. Then we have a traditional team. If you read about the traditional team, we normally think about a traditional team as an effective team because everybody is doing something and contributing. But in actual fact, in a traditional team, once the work has been divided, there's no other discussion except that at the end, where all the work are put together and submitted. Since each team members are just working on their own, the performance of a traditional team is the same as the performance of the individual member because everybody is working on his or her own. This is why the performance is the same as the performance of one person, although they are supposed to work in a team. Now, is this effective? The next type of team is the cooperative learning team. Although they do divide work among themselves, the team members will have promotive face-to-face interaction where they will discuss and help each other out. So if there's anybody who is stuck, they can easily get help from their team members. And the team members will keep checking on each other's work so that they can improve on what they are doing. This type of team will have ownership over the work that they are doing, will feel that what the team produces is also their work together. So they will try their best for the team. The next and final level of performance, and this is the highest, is in a high-performing cooperative team, team members are not only concerned about the work, they actually care about each other. They help motivate one another, they boost each other's morale, and they really care about each other as a friend. As a result, they can really optimize their work to the highest level and they are able to synergize. Unfortunately, this type of high-performing cooperative team is not common and rarely achieved. Which type of team are you in? And which type of team would you like to be? If you have identified this and you want to improve how your team works, what type of actions and what type of behavior can you implement in each member so that you can indeed become a better team? If you're able to improve how your team works, you'll be able to learn better and also the team will perform better. Next, we will look at the goal orientation of learners, or in other words, why we learn. And hopefully you can identify which one is yours. There are also 4 types of goal orientation of learners. The first is work avoidance. It doesn't sound that nice, right? Well, this is also known as the strategic effort, just to make it sound a little better. A person who takes this approach is actually very good at optimization. He or she tend to think about how can I maximize my grade with minimum effort. So the focus is actually on the grade instead of the learning itself. The person will try to do as little as possible, but hope to get a high grade, as high as possible. Next is the performance avoidance approach. The performance avoidance approach is not that good at all. A person who takes this performance avoidance approach tend to be very cautious and doesn't reveal themselves. The learner will not reveal himself or herself because he or she is afraid of making mistakes, which might make them appear as incompetent or not fit to be part of the group. This is very bad because a person taking this approach will not be able to get the help from anybody else, whether it's their friends in the class or from the instructor, because nobody knows what they are going through and nobody knows the extent of their understanding. If someone is taking this approach, he or she needs to get out of it, because as a learner, it's normal to not know things. And the starting point of learning is to always admit that you don't know something so that others can also help you. The third approach is the performance approach. On the surface, the performance approach seems good because the person seems to be doing well. However, the disadvantage of this approach is that the focus is not on the learning itself, but the focus tends to be on getting some form of recognition, such as having the highest grade, the best score, the best team, the first to be able to do something. Some people can get really distracted and obsessed over getting this recognition, that they become engrossed and create mental health issues within themselves. Finally, the best approach is actually the mastery approach. The mastery approach is really focused on learning and gaining the knowledge so that they can use it. The learner will keep trying and be willing to do anything that can help them to learn, and they are willing to work hard. This is actually the most positive and desirable approach. Can you identify which approach is yours? If you are taking that approach that is not that positive, would you like to improve? From now on, what type of approach would you like to take? Please discuss this with your teammates and also discuss what kind of approach you want for your team. And will it fit into the new type of team that you would like your team performance to be from the types of learning teams that we have seen just now? That is all for now. All the best for your work.